All right, everybody. Scott Pierce here at Listings to Leads, and we're going to be going over the listing presentation with Listings to Leads. That's absolutely game changing for a lot of agents. Agents are using it to easily win their listing presentations. They're also using it to actually convert homeowners, whether it's a seller lead, an expired, a FSBO, into listings as well. So in this call today, I'm going to walk through how to use it. First, we'll do two things. First, walk through how to create and use this in a listing presentation. So if you got a listing presentation coming up, this can just make in Terry right here. So Terry, this is a lady whose quote, Terry here is joining us from Lady Lake, Florida. And she recently joined Listings to Leads when she had a listing presentation coming up the next day. You can imagine you're a newer agent, you got a listing presentation coming up, and you don't want to screw them up. You don't want to mess them up. You're going to be a little bit nervous maybe. And even for experienced agents, preparing for it, getting everything ready. And so Terry here, as you can see here in the screenshot of one of her comments in a recent live that we did, said that she joined Listings to Leads, was very nervous and anxious about her listing appointment coming up. And she prepared it within Listings to Leads, printed it out, put it in a folder from Walmart, which is awesome. And the homeowners asked her where to sign before she even brought it up. And that's what we would all love. We would all love, who here would love to have, go ahead and type in me, if you would like to have the sellers at your listing presentation ask you where to sign. All right. When's the last time that's actually happened to you, where you're sitting there, you're going through everything, you got all these things going on, you're a little bit nervous, and they don't say anything. You're trying to figure out, how do I bring this up and how do I ask them to sign? And this is what we want more of. We want more of, or in fact, I'm going to walk you through how to get them nodding and how to just easily flow into the listing agreement so that even if you have to ask for it, it's going to be very natural. And you're going to have a lot of micro commitments coming up or agreed to beforehand, so that them signing it is almost a foregone conclusion. So it's either we want them to ask where to sign, or we want it to be so smooth that it's a very natural progression that we say we can sign the listing agreement today and get started and have everything lined up to go. And so that even when you have to ask for it, it's just very natural. And they're going to say yes most of the time. All right. And let me know here. Also, here's another quick question I'd love to know. What is your percentage of going on a listing appointment and getting the listing? Right. For most agents, what's the average? 65%. So 65% of the time, right? And every agent's obviously different. I get that. But typically, I think 65 to 70% of the listing presentations you go on that end up do listing, you get. Is it so, Robert, you're at 90. Maybe you're already using ours. All right. Maybe you're already using it. But either way, this is going to help us defend our commissions. This is going to completely answer the question of what are you going to do to help market my home? And it's going to just make your life a lot easier. So let's get into it. Let's get ourselves over to listingstoleads.com. So we got a lot of good hitters here at 90%. That is awesome. And I'm going to log into Listings to Leads. I'm going to come over here, click on listings. Now there's a general one in your account. You could use this in a listing presentation. All right. You could. I like to add it specifically for their property. And Robert's been for 8 years. So yeah, you're at 90%. Awesome, Robert. That's classic. I love it. Thank you. So on the listing dashboard, right here, it says listing presentation. If you click that, there's a whole bunch of items in here. For the purposes of this first part of the call, I want to focus on the print version and the flip book. Now, this is the general one. You can also create them for a specific property, which in this first part of the call, I'm going to spend more time on because that's what I want you to do. Because when you show a homeowner their home in this presentation, where every image in here is of their home, you're going to get those listing agreements signed so much easier. And we got a client, JJ, and I should have brought up that video. I'll find the video and I'll show it to you. And I'm going to show you exactly what she's doing, to where she has gotten 4 listings in the last 6 weeks using a strategy I'll share with you here in this call. All right, so the default one. So this is like the account level. Bryant Scanes. Tara, what is that? I'm not sure. Anyways, let's just take a look at this one here. I'm going to click on view. And this is good to take a quick look at, just because it walks you through the general listing presentation. Now I can select from a listing in my account. We got default images, and this is just a very basic presentation. It's got the intro on the cover. All right, and we go through here, and it's just showing all the great things that we're going to do to market their home. And so this is a general one. There is if I go to listing presentation print, and if I go download, notice I can select, after I click download, which listing. So again, we got the default is usually selected by default. But if you've got a really good listing that you've sold in the last even couple of years, and if you have to add it back into your account, you could. And then that way I can select from a previous listing, like maybe that one right there. Click download. And now it's going to recycle, and it's going to change all those images that are default into the images of that property. And that's not a bad thing to do, just to have it ready for you in case you need it, because now you're going to be showing a home that you sold in the area. All right. So we got now the general flip book. We got a downloadable PDF. It's not of the specific home that we're going to go to present the listing presentation, but we are going to come back to this a little bit later in this call, because I've got, and I'm going to be sharing with you, a 4 right there. And I just put this in the mastermind group, and you'll be able to come look at it after the call. A 4 text email sequence where you can use either a specific or general listing presentation to go after homes in your area, to send to your seller leads. So there's some really good applications here of, again, not just using this in a listing presentation, but using this for the seller leads in our database, for expireds, for FSBOs, for canceleds, for a lot of people that are more likely to sell than not. And you can even use it, like, for example, if you got My Plus leads or RedX, you can bring up a list of likely to move, and you could use this to email them as well. So I got it's an email text sequence. There's 4 of them that we're going to walk through today, and that'll be in part 2. But for part 1, I want to focus on creating the listing presentation, both a PDF and a flip book, that we can present at our listing presentation coming up. It is so easy to do. And somebody give me a city and state. So to do this, we're going to click add listing manual. And I believe, Terry, this is probably exactly what you did. This is what JJ does. And what JJ does is she looks up all the new expireds that come through, and she creates a listing presentation for them on a daily basis and sends it to them via text, and has done really well with it. So here we go, listing presentation. So again, click the green add listing button, manual, and then select listing presentation. And notice I can add the seller's name. All right. Email, phone number, headline. You don't need a headline, but it doesn't hurt. All right. Street, city, and state. So I'll just do 1, 2, 3. Main Street, Miami, Florida. I'll just make up a zip code. That's totally fine. I'm going to just put TBD. You don't have to put in the bedrooms and bathroom. It's not really going to do much. Later on, if I get this listing, I can just change the status from listing presentation to just listed or coming soon. So it doesn't hurt to just go ahead and put all that information there if you want to. Property description, I might just take the property, whatever information I got, drop it into Chat GPT, come up with a property description. If I'm in a hurry, I'll just put TBD, or I can copy and paste one from a previous listing. And now what you're going to want to do, you can use Google Street View. You could go by and take a photo, whatever you want to do. And in fact, if I'm going to schedule a listing appointment, I might just mention to the homeowner, hey, as part of my process of preparing to come over tomorrow at 3 o'clock or Friday at 5 p.m., I'm going to be coming by your property and taking a picture so I can put it into my marketing plan to show you. I'll be by about 3 o'clock on Thursday. I'm not going to knock on your door or bother you or anything, but just in case you see somebody in front of your house taking a photograph, that's going to be me. And I should be there for just about a quick minute. And that's all. That could be really cool because now I'm showing the homeowner that I go above and beyond and I'm already working for them before we even met. So up to you. So I've added the photo of their property. Obviously that's not from Google Street View, but people have done Google Street View. A lot of great things that you can do. Now check this out. It's going to take about a minute for this to generate. So what it's doing right now, it is creating the entire flip book, the PDF. It's inserting that image into all the marketing tools. So we're going to see that in about a minute. One thing I do have right away is the landing page. And it's a little bit hard to see, but if I blow it up and scroll down, you will see it's got Terry Ann, and I misspelled her name, excuse me, prepared for Terry Ann Francis at 123 Main Street, Miami, Florida. That is Terry's home right there. So we're already off to a great start. One of the things that you can do, and this came to us from a client, it's going to create an email for you. So you're going to have this email right here that you could take this and drop it into your CRM and send it out, or you could send it to your leads inside of Listings to Leads. And it's a quick email about the fact that you're meeting with a local homeowner who's considering selling their home and they might be open to a private sale before going public. If you're still looking, would you want a first look at this home before it hits the market? These kinds of opportunities often go to buyers on my VIP list who get exclusive access to homes before the competition. So this can be a great email to send out to your database for a couple of reasons. One is you might build up a little list of people that respond back and say yes. But what it also does is it sets you up as a person who is giving your audience, your database, something of value that they're not going to get from anybody else. So if you are going to go on a listing presentation, this is completely optional. All right, this is completely optional. A couple of ways now it's completely editable. You see I got my Listings to Leads signature right there. So I can send a test email to myself. Just check it out, make sure it looks beautiful. I can click send now, send it to all the buyers or just whoever I want to, send it to my database. And I can also either click copy code or just copy this email. And I'll open up follow-ups here to simulate going to your CRM. So you could just copy the email, go to your CRM, and I'll just put that there. I'll go grab the subject line in a second. So this could be follow-up boss, bold trail, Sierra, lofty. And I'm just going to paste in the email. And there we go. And you can edit it here. You can edit it from Listings to Leads. I'm going to come back here and grab that subject line just because I'm lazy. And then send this out to your database. All right, save draft, send, schedule, send. So whatever email program you're using, you can just take that email and send it out. And that'd be really cool because if I walk into a listing presentation and I can tell the homeowner, listen, I've got 45 people looking for homes in this area. In addition, I got 7 people who just emailed me today that they would love to look at anything that comes up for sale here. as part of just as part of the conversation. But now here's the flip book. And again, the flip book prepared for Terry Francis at 123 Main Street, Miami, Florida. And if I go back and edit it, it's going to regenerate with her name spelled right. So if you make a mistake, that's totally fine. I'm also going to show you where the introduction is. You may or may not have ever done that before. And so here we go. Every image on here is of her property. So now when I meet with Terry, every image here is of her home. And this goes a long way. And here, so I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's just walk through it like I am right now. Then we're going to walk through and I'm going to role play with you. All right. So just get a feel for it here. We got marketing to just sold and the pending and all the statuses, right? We got all the different tools. We got a QR code. We got a domain, the domain 123 Main Street. Now this is completely editable. I'm going to show you where to edit it later because, for example, I use 123 Main Street a lot. And so it's giving me this weird 31. Normally, that will take just your street address and look really smart, look really good. Sellers love it. And in fact, it was another client who told us, can you please put that in a yellow highlight? Because I always show that to my sellers and they love that domain. So I'm going to show you where you can customize that domain if you need to. But let's go back to the beginning and let's role play this. So 2 things you're going to want to know before you start on this. 1, when do they want to be sold by? So typically, before you even get to the property, you should know, all right, for example, I'm downsizing and we got an offer on a home. And so I know you can't sell my home in 3 days, but I would like to be out of here within the next 3 months. Or we're planning to move to Florida and we want to be there by mid-February. And so I'd like to have my house sold sometime before then so I can make that move to Florida, or whatever it is. You should try to know when it is that they want to be out of the home buy. Then make sure you average days on market and specifically for that area, just in case that area is a little bit different than national or the general local. So we want to have a sense of when do they want to be out of the house and what is average days on market. And then we want to have a calendar and a pen. Now you're going to have a CMA, you're going to have some other things, but just for this part here only. All right. Robin says, I have done this and didn't realize we can have the status listing presentation gold right there. Robin, yeah, 100%. Yeah, this is so awesome. And it's got their name on it. All right. And you got the PDF. Let me just show you real quickly here. Listing presentation. Let me see real quickly here. There we go. So download listing presentation, and you can now download JPEG or PDF. And this is what Terry did, right? She downloaded the PDF. She put that, and it's downloading up here. So it's going to take just a second. And that's what she put in the $2 Walmart folder. You can also bind it, right? I'll show you. You can go to Amazon and buy a $50 thermal binder. You can buy a $47 spiral binder, but this is the PDF version of the flip book. And so you can get a feel for this. What we want to do is have this as a leave behind. So we do want to print this. And this way, they're not going to throw this away, right? We print this up. Typically, just a little pro tip, when I print this up and I use whether it's a spiral or a thermal binder, right? Your office may have one. You could go to FedEx or Staples, I think, for $47. Now I've got it at my house and I can use it whenever I want. I don't need to run off to FedEx or Staples. Use a heavy paper for the cover and the back cover. So page 1 and the last page, if I just scroll down, it'd be easier than flipping through. So the cover page and then this page here, I use a really heavy piece of paper, the heaviest that will go through my printer. So that way it creates more of a normal kind of a magazine feel. And then all the other inside pages, I just use regular laser paper. Everybody good on that? But let's get back to the flip book. because, and then some people, what they do is the homeowner will go through on the PDF printed version while you're going through on this, because that way they can sit there and they can look at this and really get a feel for it and make sure that they're with you as you're flipping through this. And just, you're all on the same page. You're all looking at the same thing. Give me a second. I got people calling me like crazy. Turn that off. So that way you're all on the same page and they don't have to, you don't have to be so crowded around your tablet or laptop, if that makes sense. All right. But we're going to go through this version here. And again, the goal is by the end of this, that we have a very natural flow to get that listing agreement signed, and that they are more likely to sign it because they are not questioning, what are you going to do to market my home? They know, and they are just, Terry's comment the other day, they might just ask you, where do we sign? Or when you do say, where do we sign, that pesky little question about commissions and all that becomes much less confrontational, much easier for everybody. Because when you say 2.5 or 3%, and then you have a conversation about the buyer side, they're going to be more amenable to it because they realize all the work you're doing. It's not just putting it in the MLS and throwing up a yard sign. This is an entire plan. And the feedback from agents is sellers absolutely love this. The agents love it. So let's go through it. So I'm sitting down with you and I'm going to be walking you through how I will get your home marketed so that we get it sold the fastest we can, the least amount of time, and for the most money. So here I created a complete marketing plan for your home. And you can see it's prepared for you with your address right there. And this is your home. There's a little introduction, and we're going to be creating an entire marketing plan around your home. And this is going to include paid Facebook advertising, social media marketing, email marketing, and so on. Now, notice one of the great things here. This is all, I don't have to memorize anything. Terry literally signed up for Listings to Leads the day before and was so good at it, apparently, right? But they asked her, where do we sign? So Terry, I don't think you studied for 12 hours, right? I'm sure you looked through it a little bit, but this is not something I need to memorize or figure out, because this whole thing, as we go through it, it's all bullet pointed for you. So easy. It's so easy to communicate, and make sure you do it in your voice, right? So Terry says, yeah, right? No, meaning I believe, no, I did not have to spend an inordinate amount of time going through it. All right. So back to the presentation. We're going to be doing paid Facebook advertising and Instagram. All right. We're going to have different ads for the different statuses of your property, which I'll show you in a little bit, that are tested and guaranteed great results to generate interested buyers for your property. We'll be doing social media marketing to include X, Instagram, LinkedIn, Google, Pinterest, and more. Right now, these are all things that either we do or you can just easily get the link to. And where's my thing? There we go. YouTube marketing. So YouTube is one of the biggest search engines on the internet, and that's got $1 billion of content every day, or views every day. Now, Listings to Leads, we automatically put your listing on YouTube if you've connected YouTube to your account, which is super easy. All right. We do print marketing. Right now, we show postcards and door hangers, but we've also got the letter. So that's all print. All right. So we do print marketing because we want to make sure that the nearby neighbors know your home is for sale. A lot of people that live in the area know other people that would love to move to the area. So we're going to make sure that all the neighbors know. We do email marketing. So we want to make sure that our database, we have a database of hundreds of people, both buyers and sellers. And a lot of our seller clients are going to be buying a home in our general area as well. We'll, of course, make sure to let them know about it. And of course, for any one of you, if you've got a differentiator, like for example, if you got 5,000 people in your database, highlight that. If you don't, then just go more off of what we got right here. But this right here is your basis. You can, for example, I just talked to a client earlier today. He does 500, and he'll even do up to 2,000 mailings for his listing at just listed and just sold. And if that's what you do, highlight that. But if you don't, then just stay on point with what's in front of you. So you don't have to embellish anything. But if you have something that you want to, then of course you're going to want to bring it up. All right. We're also going to tap into your sphere of influence because, again, just like your neighbors, you likely know people who know people, right? We talk about this in a lot of our training to the seller, people who know people that would love to buy a home in the area. And in the way the market is right now, we do not want to leave any stones unturned. So we're going to make sure people that you know, this will be driven by you, but we have the tools to allow them to know your property is for sale and for them to share it with others that they know. We'll do short form videos. All right. We give you the script. They're in your account, the little Instagram, little TikTok. We got beautiful full screen single property websites and virtual tours. God, that looks gorgeous, right? They look at that right there. We have listing flyers. So this is a really great way to attract buyers. Our listing flyers have text codes and QR codes. And you can see we use a great domain so that it's going to be very memorable for people. And if you, for example, if you put them on the yard sign, I would say we put it on the yard sign. It's at the property. So it's a beautiful print flyer. And we're going to feature at least 5 to 6 professional photos of your home in the print flyer that we've got for you. We use text IVR. And so this is where, whether it's the left side or the right side, have them pull out their phone. And of course, I turned my phone off because I kept getting people calling me. Let me turn my phone back on because I love doing this. And everybody here do it as well. Text that, or not text, scan the QR code. It's quicker and easier. And this is where, when they see their home on their phone, you're halfway there. Once you get them to scan this, and one of our clients, JJ, who is 19 years old, she is in a little bit of an older market. She actually uses the fact that a lot of people, which I find surprising, don't know how to use a QR code to her advantage, because she says it makes her look even more tech savvy to the older crowd, which is a lot of her market. She's in like a resort area. So she has them pull out their phone and she just walks them through. Open up your camera, point it, and then click on the link that opens up. And then when they see their home on their phone, for a lot of people, it's not like it's mind blowing for most people, but what it is, it's impressive. And it shows that I'm halfway there to get your home marketed. I've got the tools, we're dialed in, right? We have all the great things right here. This is absolutely awesome, right? They can be able to look at if you get your client reviews in Listing Leads, they're going to be seeing your reviews. So this right here is amazing. Is there? No, not in this one. You'd have to do that. At this point, there's not. And if you do anything like, for example, if you do property videos or 3D tours, just create your own slick and add that. Like a lot of our clients, for example, are with our leading real estate companies of the world. So they've got a supplemental that they can just add behind this. Yeah. Don't overthink it. All right. Don't overthink this. Of course, whatever, but yeah, just don't overthink it. And we've got all these tools are in Listing Leads. There's nothing right here that is not in Listing Leads. And if, for example, you can't use a sign writer because you're in a community where they don't allow them, we still put the text codes on the listing flyers, social media post. So we're still using all of this stuff, even if you can't use it in your HOA, for example. All right. Mobile marketing, we're going to make sure that your stuff looks absolutely beautiful, just like you saw on your mobile phone, right? Pointing out the QR code specifically. We're going to make sure that we cross market your home on as many channels as possible. And now, this is where you pull out your calendar. This is where you pull out your calendar. And how do we get, it's going to be there automatically. Yeah, it's going to be there automatically. So you don't need to worry about it. So when you get to the coming soon, make sure your calendar is open. And you're going to say, all right, so you want to be out by February 15th, 2026. All right. So that means we're going to want to be in escrow typically by January 15th, 2026 is typically a 30-day escrow. If it's different, you're going to say it's different for your area. And in this area here, nationally, days on market is up a little bit and I'm making numbers up here. Just go with me. Nationally, days on market is about 53 days. Regionally here, we're at about 48. In this area, it is about 34 days, your average days on market. So if we back out 34 from January 15th, that's going to put us at December 11th. And if I know I'm not exact, that's fine. Just let me know. So by December 11th is when we are going to want to be on market at the very latest. Now, the one thing I would say is the holiday season can be, there's again, every one of you, every market's going to be a little bit different. So just bring this into the way you do your business. With a holiday season, there's going to be people in and out. So we might want to add in a couple of weeks because of the holidays between Thanksgiving, between Christmas. On the one hand, and when I was an agent, we saw this, there are some serious buyers out there around the holidays. Some people like to take their properties off the market during the holiday season, but at the same time, people are coming in from out of town. They're in town for a week or so during the holiday season. And, they want to move here because they're visiting family. And if your home is on the market, it can be a phenomenal time. We could actually get it into contract even sooner because of the holidays. I'm going to say we may want to go to market a little bit before Thanksgiving, because then that gives us, or maybe just after Thanksgiving. So maybe like December, I would say December. And I might look at I don't have my calendar up, but whatever that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, let's just say December 5th, 2025. And today is what? Today is November 6th or 5th. So that gives us a month. So what I recommend is we don't do coming soon. And if you do coming soon, great, talk about it. But we don't do coming soon marketing as a on MLS activity. But what we use coming soon marketing for is make sure we got the listing photos, that we got great curb appeal, that we make sure your house is perfectly, when I say staged, I don't mean we're going to bring in a lot of furniture, but we're going to want to make sure that we declutter some things, because when a buyer walks through, the house has to look great. And so we want to make sure that we don't have a lot of things laying around. It doesn't mean you got to put everything in storage, but if there's anything that you don't need, it would be great to make sure that's out of here. And the backyard, the front yard, we just want to make sure everything looks perfect. And this will give us a month to make sure that we are completely dialed in before we go to market as just listed on or about December 6th, which is what I'm going to recommend, so that we can make sure that we're in escrow by the right time. An average 30-day escrow will get you out of the house, and it would flow very nicely. Does that make sense? And they're going to be like, hey, yeah, that makes sense. That's really good. Okay, great. And again, if you do open houses, great. If you don't, you can just say, I don't think we're going to need to do an open house on your property, or your HOA doesn't allow it, whatever it's going to be. But if you do, then you can say, we'll do an open house usually the first 2 weeks after we go live. So what we're going to recommend is the first Saturday after we go live, and the second Saturday, we'll do an open house from 1 to 4 p.m. We do a lot of great marketing for that. Again, social media marketing, database marketing. We're going to let the neighbors know. We're going to let your sphere of influence know, and have a massive amount of people knowing about your property to get as many people there as possible. Does that make sense? Yes, that makes sense. They're going to be nodding. Oh, wow, that sounds great. Okay, great. Then after the open house, we'll hope to start looking at offers, right? So we're going to make sure we want to price the property right. We're going to do all this great marketing from the time it's coming soon, as we're getting ready for the marketing. And then we're just listed. We do the open house. Then whatever offers we get, we'll submit them and we'll review them together. And if we don't, or if there's not an offer that you accept, then we'll be on market. And again, typical days on market here is whatever it was, 34 days or so. And we'll keep marketing your property across all channels until we do get an offer. And then once we get an offer and we go into contract, we're not going to stop our marketing. So we are going to keep marketing your property until it closes escrow, or at least until the contingencies are removed and the buyer can't back out anymore. This will help make sure that the buyer and the selling agent understand that we are not going to just sit here, all right, and wait for them to nickel and dime us on repairs. They're going to know that we are still marketing this property until we close escrow or until they remove contingencies. Does that make sense? Oh, that's amazing. The seller's going to be, oh, wow, that's awesome. I love it. That's great. And then we'll get your property sold. Oh, that's fantastic. That's great. Right here, you could do a trial run of that listing agreement. Right here, you could say, I got the listing agreement. We got it. We can set the date to go live on December 6th. And then we're going to use the 3 to 4 weeks before then to make sure everything is dialed in so that when we launch, it's going to be absolutely perfect. In fact, I got a photographer tentatively scheduled, if it's convenient for you, to come out here on November 21st, if that works for you. I just wanted to make sure to tentatively schedule it, no obligation. And so that way we can make sure that we're just hitting the ground running. And then after that, we got traffic reports. I'm going to make sure to keep you up to date on everything that we do on a weekly basis. I'll provide you a detailed summary of what we're doing and the traffic we're getting for your home. And then if you would like, you can check out my client reviews here. And again, notice that great domain. If you do not have your client review website with listings to leads, this will not appear. It'll just show the PDFs. And you can just let them know later on, if you feel like you want to, you can just scan these QR codes, download these PDFs. They're interesting. They can be helpful to let you know about the selling process and different things like that. And then we just got the back cover. So if you keep it simple, all right, don't, one of my biggest problems, and I always have a hard time with it, is not selling past the close. All right. So not trying to do too much. You don't need to do too much. Just flow with this. Let them look at it. They're going to be impressed. They're going to love it. Make sure you have them scan the QR code right around here. I like the mobile marketing. It's a little bit smaller, so they can scan that one. But regardless, I want them to see their home on their phone. That is one of the things that JJ said was just an absolute game changer. When they can see their home in the flip book, in the magazine, or in the PDF printout, and on their phone, that's just like a trifecta. It's just amazing. And then right here, that's the part where, again, where you want to pull out your calendar. Now, Terry, you may not have done this, right? I don't know. I'm not sure what Vince taught you or mentioned to you. But again, this is something that a few different people, one person talked about it, another, as I did training, other people mentioned it, that, yeah, this idea of knowing when they want to be out, knowing days on market, talking it through, making sure they understand, okay, we don't do coming soon, or we do coming soon. And if you do coming soon, then before we go coming soon, we're going to spend that pre-market time to get good photographs, to do the property video, to do the 3D tour, right? All that great stuff. Can we add a page about how we conduct our unique? John, you can add that to either the print version that you do, or just have another tab open. Okay. So yeah, just that's the easiest way at this point. But if you do the print version, then when you're printing the PDF of this, just print the PDFs of the other things that you've got. And then just when you're going to go bind it, spiral or thermal, just put them all together. And now you got a booklet that's got all that stuff, right? John Summers did that. Terry said she did that. I added an extra page on brokerage and bio to the printed version. Yeah, exactly right. Yeah. You don't have to overcomplicate it. It's super easy. Because again, a lot of people do a 3D tour, and I don't want to skip that, but a lot of people don't. Property videos. If you got 5,000 people following you on Instagram, I may have a separate page on that alone. That might be something I spell out specifically. But if you don't, no one's going to ask you about it, because by the time they get through this, they're going to be just absolutely floored, because the other agent they heard about, or the last agent that sold their previous home, or the agent, another agent they interviewed, they just had the about our brokerage, right? They walk in and they're, oh, we're in 150 countries, and we're on Wall Street Journal, and we're this and that. And to be honest, that's so anybody's head, like, how does you being in 150 countries help me? All right. All right. I get that the Wall Street Journal is great, but what are you really doing? Is somebody from the Wall Street Journal really going to buy my house? I don't think so. It sounds great, but that's not really going to win a listing presentation. Yeah. And you requested the cover letter. Please do not edit that. Somehow by accident, I gave you editing access when I didn't mean to. So make sure you just copy it and then download it. And don't edit my version. So in the challenge group, I'm going to give you these links. So hold on tight here. Nope, that's the daily activities. Here are the resources. So hold tight. I'm going to give you all the link. So here's a spiral. And this one's 47 or 52. All right. Sorry about that. 52. Let me actually get the share link. It's a little easier. And I think if you search binders in the mastermind group, you'll find this. Here is a thermal. To be honest, I hate saying that term, to be honest. I like the the spiral binder better because, and it's preference, it's up to you. There's no right or wrong answer. But I like the spiral binder better just because it's easier to stay open. If you thermal bind these, they're going to want to close all the time. And so if I'm sitting there looking at it and this on the thermal binder here, it's going to want to just always want to close. Whereas the spiral and the ones that when you order bulk, these will stay open beautifully. All right. Now, to print one of these up for one property, it by the third or fourth time you did it, it would be more expensive than it would to just do it at home. And when you want to go after seller leads, like when you want to go after seller leads in bulk and you want to get 30 of these, then ordering from us, and we actually do have an order link if you want to do that, which that's the second part of this call, which we're going to walk through in a minute. But for your one-offs and a listing presentation, that's a one-off. Doing this like this is phenomenal. Is there a staple binder? John, I don't know. I don't think so. If I do binder staple, like saddle, I think they call it saddle, staple. Let's just see what happens. Oh, wow. I've never even looked this up. I don't even know how this works. It looks like it. But now you're going to have to have, now you're going to have to have the right kind of, yeah, I have no clue what this is. But now you're going to have a printer that can print the paper that is double 8.5 by 11. And not a lot of people are going to have that. But if you do, hey, go for it. But I just don't, I've never seen or used this. Yeah. It looks pretty cool, but nobody's ever come back to me and said, "Oh my God, I did a spiral binder and the homeowner was so unimpressed that I lost the listing." They're not even going to look whether spiral or thermal. The only reason I like the spiral again is the thermal just wants to close all the time. And if I'm going to be sitting there with them looking at the presentation, I just want to be laying on the table so they can just leave it laying on the table without one having to hold this side and one having, it gets a little bit, eh. I emailed the flipbook in advance and have all the pages laminated for the generic. Yeah, Robin, that's awesome as well. So Robin says, and this is what I mean. Everyone's going to want to do it differently. So Robin says, I emailed the flipbook in advance. So Robin, do you add the listing to your account as listing presentation? It sounds like the way you said it earlier, you probably don't, that you're just using the main. And Robin, you're with Canvas Real Estate. Like you do some really high-end listings, don't you? I think I looked at because I know you ordered some of the expired stuff and yes, I added. Oh, that's what kills me. There's a million and one ways of doing this and they can all work. They can all work. It's funny because JJ goes after expireds and she doesn't add them as expired. She adds them as listing presentation and then sends them the flip book via text and does really well with that. So if Robin is sitting here adding it as coming soon, which is awesome. Again, how do you want to present this? How do you want it to flow? So everyone, but as long as you understand the process, you're going to be good to go. because the basic process of what I just shared with you is really the way to do it. All right. And Robin, yeah, like I said, you do some beautiful listings. Yeah, down there in southeast Florida. I think you're north of Miami there. So, anyways, any questions on any of this so far that we've covered? So when you've got a listing presentation coming up, add it to your account and start using that tool. You got the PDF. And for example, if somebody has the PDF, if I click on 123 Main Street, and we got the landing page as well. And for the landing page, this could be something. So for example, Robin, if you wanted to, you could even send the landing page ahead of time and just say, yeah, I would just send them the flip book. You already got them. They're going to do it. We've had people use the landing page. I don't have a great use case for that yet, but if anybody does, in fact, one actually. So let's switch gears. Anybody have any questions so far on what we've been talking about? So when you got a listing presentation coming up, you should be good to go. Now, I am going to walk through this. In fact, let me walk through the slides because it's a little easier, and then we'll get to what I was just looking at a minute ago. What I just did for the listing presentation, you can do for expireds. And so, Robin, I believe I've added I send the landing page too because they think I spent a bunch of time creating it. Yeah, awesome. I'd love to hear more on that, Robin. Maybe later if you want to email me. I'd love to just know your process on that landing page. But you're right. They feel like you're spending so much time on this when you spent a little bit of time, but they just really people are impressed beyond belief. All right. I'm going to share with you a little bit more about what JJ does with a little bit of a twist. And this is so easy. We're going to walk through doing it for expireds, and then we're going to just do a little edit and do it for those seller leads that are in your database. And you can do it for anybody. All right. So the fastest and cheapest ways to generate listings, the 4-text sequence to engage and convert seller leads. So now these are expired leads. I should say expired leads right there. All right. Text number 1, and this is all in the mastermind group. Hi, Scott. Or I say, hi, Robin, it's Scott or I'll say, hey, Scott, it's Robin with Canvas Real Estate. I saw that your home expired 2 months and 12 days ago. 12 days ago. Are you still considering selling? I've got a 24-page, 100 plus point expired marketing plan that shows how homes are selling fastest and for top dollar right now. Want me to text you a link? So you could, and what JJ does is she's adding listings. Every day she goes through the expireds. For those expireds that she wants to reach out to, she will add them just like I showed you. So she'll grab a photo, could even be Google Street View. For a lot of homes, Google Street View can be perfect. And so she'll grab a photo, add it to the listing like I walked you through. You could do it as expired, or you could do it as listing presentation. You could even do it as coming soon, like what Robin does, okay? But the point is, we're going to send them a text. And in the first text, we're not sending them anything, all right? There's nothing in here. There's no link. We're just saying, we've got this presentation, 100 plus point marketing plan. Would you like a link? And they may or may not respond. Now, you could also call. You could send this via email. You could take this exact text and send it via email. All right, if there's no response in a couple of days, text them back. Hey, Scott, just wanted to share with you this real quick. My 24-page, 100-point expired marketing plan shows how homes are selling fastest and for top dollar right now. Here's a link. And that's just a link to the flip book. All I did is I used tiny URL. You could use bit.ly to make it really clean. So instead of sending the listing presentation flip book, that longer URL, I just cleaned it up. And that says, curious what you think when you get a chance. Now, again, JJ, what she is doing is she is adding, those expires are coming through. and she's grabbing a photo. So this is actually the specific one for that property. So when the person getting the text clicks that link, they're looking at their home. So she is doing this. In fact, we got a really good sized team. They're going to be doing this as well. In fact, they're going to scale this where they're increasing. They're getting a team account because they want to do this at scale. And with a team account, you get unlimited listings. And they want to just do this at scale. They're going to get an admin, and they're just going to start adding listings with the listing photos, and they're going to start doing this at scale. But 4 listings in 6 weeks, she's just spending a little bit of time each day going through this. But you could also use the general one in your account. So that's text number 2. And let me know if you're getting this. So let me know if you're clear on this. Again, this one here is geared towards expireds, but you can do this for your seller leads in your database and other places as well. Text number 3, if no response. Hi, Robin. Would you like to see your home featured in my 100 plus point home marketing plan so that you can see how amazing this plan is with your home in it? Here is the link again to my general one. So what I'm trying to do here, and I want to suss out all the people that are starting to think about selling, because my thought process is when they see that general one, they're gonna be like, oh, wow, this is pretty involved. And for those that are a little bit more serious, they're going to want to see their home in it. So they're going to respond back, yes, I want to see it. Now, there are people, JJ and others, that they start off by sending the one with their home in it. Does that make sense? So you can just edit these texts or these emails or these phone calls as appropriate based on how you're going to do it. Yeah. Oh, Tina, I'll show you in a minute. Yeah, it's right there. But I'll show you in a minute. Text number 4, if there's no response from 1, 2, and 3. Hey, Robin, or hey, Tina, here's an example of one of my property websites so you can see how your home would be marketed. And that's just the URL like I showed you earlier. Remember, we were looking on the flip book and the PDF for the listing presentation, and it was highlighted in yellow, and it was like that world's best listing. That's what this is right here. And I'll show you where you can edit that. I just made it your Placer County home, worldsbestlisting.com. Every listing we market gets its own website like this, plus our full 100 plus point home marketing plan with full social, email, print, video, and ad campaigns, right? This is for expireds. There is a version in the mastermind group right there, right here. I will add the text of this to the post. So in the mastermind group, I'll give you the post link right now. For those of you that know how to, you can literally take a screenshot of this, drop it into ChatGPT, and it will give you the plain text of it. Evan, text number 1 is, hey, Evan, it's Scott with XYZ Realty. I saw that your home expired 2 months and 12 days ago. No, oh, God dang it. Actually, I changed this. I don't know why it didn't change. Evan, thank you for bringing me back to this. I saw that your home expired after being on the market for 2 months and 12 days. God, I made that mistake and I edited it, but I don't know how it didn't save. Thank you. Thank you for bringing me back to this, because now that I read it properly. So what you're doing here is you're calling out how long the home was on the market for. You don't want to say 2 months or 3 months or 2 to 3 months. There's a psychological trigger when you put the number of days. So 2 months and 12 days. Or if you wanted to say it was on the market for 76 days. All right. Yeah, dude, thank you so much. Otherwise, I got to make sure I save that. Share. Let me do this. Anyone with the link, viewer. Let me just say done. And I will copy link, and I'll put that in here as well. So if somebody wants to. Now, most of you should be pretty good about just taking this and extrapolating that to the seller leads. And let me just close some of this. I got too many things open. There we go. And I will make this bigger. And again, this is a post in our mastermind group. So you can go and get this there. And it's very similar to what we're doing with the expireds. So if you've got seller leads in your database, there's going to be, think about two different groups of seller leads, the A's and everybody else. For the A's, you may consider doing what JJ does, what other people do, where they will they will add that person's home to their account because it's an A seller lead. It's a beautiful home. It's in a great area. It's one of those listings where, when I'm at my broker sales meeting and I say, "Oh yeah, by the way, 4685 Granite Drive, I'm listing that and it's going to be coming up for on the market next Monday." And everybody goes, "Ooh, that's a nice listing," right? These A listings. I could create the listing presentation just like I showed you, but I've also got a lot of seller leads on my database that I can't do that for. So here, text number one, again, "Hey, Evan at Scout XYZ Realty, are you still considering selling your home soon?" And I'll edit, yeah, selling it anytime soon, selling your home soon. "I've got a free 24-page, 100 plus point home marketing plan to get your home sold that shows how homes are selling fastest for top dollar. Want me to text you a link?" It's just the same thing as one for expireds, but just worded now for our seller leads. And again, even for our A's and everybody else, that first text is always going to be pretty much the same because I don't want to have to do a bunch of work, and I'd like to just get the most motivated people because then maybe that'll keep me pretty busy, and then I'll text everybody else a little bit later. But I want to get that first text out without having to do anything and see what happens. And you may have 200 seller leads in your database. I would send this via email, and then I would also send it via text if you got the ability to text. All right, number two, text email number two. All right, "Hey, Evan, just wanted to share this real quick. My 24-page, 100 plus point complete marketing plan to get your home sold. Shows how homes selling are fast for top dollar. Here's the link." Now in the second email, I send the link, whether it's to the general one or to the one for their specific property. Curious what you think when you get a chance. All right. Text, email. It could even be a phone call number three. "Hey, Evan, would you like to see your home featured in my 100-point complete marketing plan to get your home sold so that you can see how amazing this plan would be? Here's the link again to my general one." Now, if I've already sent them the one, if they're A and I've already sent them the one with their home in it, obviously I wouldn't send them this one because they've already seen their home. Makes sense? And then the last one here, "Hey, Evan, here's an example of one of my property websites so that you can see how your home would be marketed." And that's just the single property website. Now, two things I want to show you. And, who here does property videos or 3D tours? All right. If you do a property video or 3D tour, check this out. Let me find. So if I go ahead and type in video or 3D tour if you do it. If you go to your listing and you go edit video 3D tours. So if you've got a YouTube video, I would add it. Or if you do 3D tour, I would add the embed code. So Robin, what you want to do here is I want when they scan the QR code for the property website or they send a text, when that listing comes up on their phone, that they see a property video. And it doesn't have to be, right? It doesn't have to be the exact same listing because they're just going to see that it's a video. Obviously, I'm not going to do a video of their property. That would be weird. If they saw a video of their property, that would be weird. Or inside photos. The outside photo is fine. And give me 1 second. I'm gonna show you how to do this. So I'm gonna grab a video from another listing. So I got video and 3D tour under edit, and here's a listing video. And so this might be, so I can just add that right there. And now when I click property website, oh, you know what? Let's see. Property website, save. And let me see here. Oh, turned off. All right, turn it on. So property website. And now when they scan the general listing presentation, they're going to see a video. They could see a 3D tour, right? They could see, if you do community videos, you can add community videos to your property websites. Right here, I got one, top 10 best things to do in Folsom, a great little property video. So if any of you do any kind of videos, get into the mastermind group and let me know. And we'll actually add that to your account so that anytime you've got a listing, for this case in Folsom, that your Folsom video will show up. All right. If anytime you got a listing in Roseville, the Roseville video can show up. So we can actually add that to your account in a way that all new listings get the appropriate video set up. The website will do a video at the top, all the photos you upload. Yeah, Robin, it will. To me, I'm not, I like just a regular property video better. But yeah, there's a way you can do it where that the YouTube listing video is up at the top. But if I do a straight up videos, again, it doesn't have to be for that particular property for them to get the point. All right. All right, everybody, listen, we covered a lot today. We covered how to dominate and win your listing presentation easier than ever, and do it in such a way that even if they don't ask us where to sign, like they did for Terry, that we have a nice progressive flow so that by the time we do get to the point where we're going to ask for that listing agreement to get signed, right? They've already done a number of micro agreements with us that they've already mentally watched and seen the entire process. All right. So it's going to be a lot easier. It's going to be a lot easier to defend your commission, may be a little bit dramatic, but you get my point. To rationalize, to justify, right? To elucidate your commissions using this presentation makes all of that a lot easier. And then we walk through how to go after some of those seller leads in your database, either kind of a en masse general approach, very easy to do. And then if you've got these A-list seller leads, maybe they said at some time they want to sell soon, or it's just a beautiful property, that you can actually add that to your account. And again, add listing manual. And for the person that asked about coming soon, status coming soon. And it's going to give you a little pop-up. I could do listing presentation, appropriate. And if it's for sale by owner, I can do for sale by owner. And notice all of these, just make sure it's got the name, email, and phone number. Now, we don't put the phone number on the cover sheet or the back page, but we do put their name in the property address. It just makes it more personal. And we got expired. It could be a canceled listing. One of the things that we talk about in the 30-day expired challenges, going back into My Plus Leads or RedX or wherever you get your data from, Remine, find your MLS, find these listings that went off market that did not sell, and either start that 4-text sequence. So this is great for your seller leads, but also this is great for, not share. This is great for all those listings that never got sold, that are now off market. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for joining us. Give us support if you need something specific. If you got general questions on this, please get to the mastermind group. In your Listings to Leads account, when you log in, there's a pop-up, right, that looks pretty funky. And there's a link to the mastermind group from there, but you can also click marketing calendar. 1 second here, and that'll come up with the marketing calendar. Oh, I always forget to turn off Wi-Fi. I just got hardwired recently in my office. Sorry. I just turned off my Wi-Fi. Now my connection's interrupted. Yeah. Oh, maybe the storms. We're having some pretty big storms today. Our first big winter storm of the year. Anyway, under the marketing calendar, there's a tab called resources. And then there's a link to the mastermind group from there. All right. Patrick, can you get a copy of what presentation? Of this one right here, or of the recording of this entire video? For this one, yeah, I put this link here. So if this is the one you're talking about, yes, there you go. And then for this recording, yeah, it's going to be on our YouTube channel. So if you go resources and click here, you'll find all of our videos. In fact, I'll put this in the mastermind group as well. So right here, go to the mastermind group if you're not already there. And then again, a little bit, as soon as this is available, when it's processed and all that stuff, I'll drop it into the Facebook mastermind group. Patrick, is that cool? So you can just, I'll title it with the same title. I'll put a little description, and then you'll be able to find it there. Maybe 30 to 60 minutes. It should be available. All right, everybody, listen, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. I hope it's warm and sunny where you are, but if not, stay warm and dry. And again, get to the mastermind group. Love hearing all of the things that you're doing, and we'll talk to you later. And if you're not a client, make sure, I know some people will join these calls and they're not a client. All right, here we go. I'll drop this link. And for all of you, do you know that you got a affiliate link? And even if you're an office client, let me just show that to you before we head out. You could be in an office account where you don't pay anything and actually make straight up money. Oh, affiliate link right there. Affiliate link on the left-hand side, right? We pay 15% recurring, no cap, no limit. There's your link. You can just share that with people. And when they sign up with it, as soon as we get paid, you get paid. So we pay via PayPal, and 15% recurring, no cap, no limit. Again, affiliate link. And you'll drop in like a PayPal email. You'll be prompted to drop in a PayPal email. Just drop it in there. And then you got copy link. And then you can share that with people and start making some money. All right, everybody. With that, have a wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.